Hi, it's Jane, and I am starting the Afghan, the red, white, and blue Afghan. I was going to hold two strands of the red, the blue, and the white together and use my P hook. This is considered an N or a P. It is 10 millimeters, but I have since decided I'm just going to use my L hook, which is 8 millimeters. So I'm going to use that and start the corner to corner granny square blanket. And I think that will be fine. I think it will still work up fairly fast. So I'm going to give that a shot and see how that works. I'm using Hooked by Robin's pattern for this. And basically she has you chain 4, join it with a slip stitch, and then chain 4, and then go into that circle and put the three double crochet clusters. And then for that first row to end it there, you're just going to do an extended double crochet, which is you'll start out like a regular double crochet. Then you'll just go through the first chain when you yarn over, then yarn over, go through 2, yarn over, go through 2. And then you'll just start again with the chain 4. You have that little space here where your extended double crochet is, between that and the cluster. Open that up and put 3 double crochet cluster in there, or the granny stitch in there. Then you'll scoot over to the end, place another 3 double crochet cluster stitch there, and then go back in with a double crochet, extended double crochet stitch. And then you're just going to repeat those rows all the way through until your blanket is the size that you want it. Supposedly it helps keep it nice and square. You know me, I don't care, because I can turn it around and make it work either way. So, but anyway, this I think is going to be a little bit larger, more open, because I am using the L hook instead of a K or a J hook. But I just think it'll work out fine this way. I mean, I don't see an issue with it. It's still going to provide some warmth, but it will also show that we care about this person. And that's what the whole thing is about. So anyway, what are you guys up to on this sunny Sunday afternoon? I have been doing some things at home, cleaning things up and working on a little bit of a Bible study. Kind of looking at some of the things that I would like to do over the next couple of months with this channel, with the sewing channel, and also with my Bible reading channel. So those are, just a few things that I'm looking at right now, kind of planning what I think I would like to do and seeing where it goes from there. But I do enjoy, I have done a lot of corner-to-corner blankets. I do enjoy doing the corner-to-corner blankets. However, I have never done one that has been solely the granny stitch. The other one uses a block stitch, for lack of a better term. And so it looks a little bit more closed in than being more of an open granny look. And I think granny blankets are just beautiful. I enjoy doing granny blankets, but every once in a while it's nice to do something that's a little more challenging, something that's a little different. But still, the granny stitch blanket is one of those that almost is a mindless crochet. Once you get into the rhythm of it, once you figured out what plan you are going to do with it, and plan, I mean, for a lot of folks, they've got to plan out their colors and, kind of chart it for themselves. You know me, I fly by the seat of my pants sometimes, so there's that. But yeah, I had a couple of folks at church that had asked me if I would knit them a sweater like this. One of the ladies wants it in this color with these type of buttons, and I told her, I said, I can't guarantee I can get either one. I might be able to get the same color yarn. I can't guarantee I can get the same buttons because Joann's is no more. And I have not seen these type of buttons anywhere. I haven't seen them at Walmart. I don't think I've seen them at Hobby Lobby. Of course, their button, is kind of limited. Have not seen them at Walmart, although Walmart might start carrying a few more buttons, or I may have to just look online and order online for buttons, who knows. But there were a lot of things that a lot of us would shop for at Joann's, and it is a store that is going to be missed, because what other store could you go in and get fabric, get interfacing, get yarn, get buttons, get ribbons, and then turn around and go over if you needed cardstock, get cardstock, or things to help you with purse making, or doll making, or just crayons, things for kids, dolls, beads, stuff you need for beadwork, stuff that if you sell earrings, necklaces, you could buy the cardboard backings that you would need to lay your items on for selling, attached to, so. Yeah, it's been interesting. But, and of course the other thing is, where I'm at, my Ben Franklin shut down as well. And I did get a lot of fabric there. I do have a place that I can go to get fabric. One is run by a Mennonite woman. Well, they're both run by Mennonites. One is my sewing machine dealer, and he is a dealer, over in Mifflinburg, and that's sort of where the other, his aunt, who runs that shop, has her shop at. But I have to remember when I go there, I can use my debit card at my sewing shop there. They also have fabric buttons, different things like that. But they don't have a big, huge stock of buttons. Theirs mostly are clothing for Mennonite Amish women that come in. So those are just plain, really plain buttons. But over at the other shop, you can get all kinds of different buttons. I don't know that I've seen something, like this button. But I do know she does carry quite a variety. She carries serger thread, zippers, hankies, quilt kits, all kinds of fabric, and also clothing fabrics that are made just for clothing. But she does not take debit or credit cards. She doesn't want to have to deal with the hassle of it, so she will take check or cash only. So when I go over there, I have to remember to take my checkbook with me. I don't always carry it with me. So I generally make a list the day before so I know what I'm going after, because otherwise I will overspend, guaranteed overspend. So I really do miss having a Joann's. It was bad enough when the Joann's went out of business in Williamsport, but then on top of that to go out of business in the State College area too. And I really don't think there are any quilt shops in State College. Haven't really looked. The only place that I've gone there, well, they have the Michaels, but I don't consider Michaels a quilt shop. Even with the fabrics they've added, they're not all that big a selection. Let's just put it that way. If you want Hello Kitty, they've got a ton of Hello Kitties. The only other place is the Scraps and Skeins that I know of. Probably should look to see. There might be a quilt shop there. But generally, if you go into a lot of different quilt shops, they tend to charge a higher price for their fabric, and it's not always the top quality fabric. Where I go to with, there in Mifflinburg, both of those Mennonite shops, top quality quilt fabric. So it's always worth it. Always worth it. So yeah, that is a lot of, shall we say, sweat off your brow. You know, you can go get top quality quilt fabric, and usually it's a pretty decent price. It's not too bad. You know, they cater to Amish Mennonite mostly, so they know how frugal those folks are, so they don't really overprice their fabrics. But how are you guys today? What are you working on? And I've been following the saga of Barbara. I hope if you didn't get someone to help you sew on the fish and the different things for your ocean blanket, I hope you did. You were able to tackle it, do it on your own. Low vision sucks. That's all I got to say. It sucks for us creators because we're so used to, in the past, being able to do the things without calling on help from others. But I have a suggestion. I don't know if you have a college or university in your town. With the Prayer Shawl Ministry, we had the Knit and Crochet Club there at the university. They saw the article for the Prayer Shawl Ministry, and so they wanted to join in and to do something for their community that they're living in. So we invited them to come. Of course, they can't come when we have our meetings because they have classes during that time. So what we had suggested is perhaps they could come, take some yarn to make things, bring them back into made items, you know, drop them off at the back of the door. Or maybe occasionally we could have an evening, or maybe a Saturday meeting for them to come and join us. I don't know how they're going to work that out. But they're kind of trying to figure out how to work that out for this group of crocheter and knitters. And I have to tell you, what they brought was absolutely adorable. They brought a couple of octopus amigurumis. One gal had made a doll, and it looked like the Snow White doll. She had crocheted it. It was stunning. And also some clothes to change that doll, to change on this doll's clothes. But they also did a couple of baby hats, which was kind of neat. And they came to the knit and run, so it's nice to get to meet these young ladies and to encourage them. And of course, you know, I told them, I said, well, you know, I don't know when your club meets, but maybe some of us could come up for your club meets, you know, just to help or sit in and just talk with you, you know? And they were like, that would be cool, so we'll see what happens with that. But my suggestion for you, Barb, is if you have a college, university around you, see if there is a crochet knit club, and if maybe one of those college girls, college men who knit or crochet might be able to come over and help you for some of those fine details. Just a suggestion. And it's a suggestion for all of us as we get older to consider. I do know that most of my viewing audience are older folks. That's okay with me. For some reason, older content creators don't always get a lot of younger folks. It kind of depends. Those that are kind of in the middle, I would say somebody like Nancy, she might get a few more. Nina might get a few more younger age group in as subscribers, and that's completely understandable. But yeah, see, it's coming along pretty fast, so I am thrilled with this. I had thought about doing just a big large square, different colors, and then just joining them with the white. But I think I'm just going to do it all in the granny square and then maybe put one of the base colors around the edges, you know, like the white or something. Make the white a smaller strip. We did have one woman that had turned in it was partially red, white, and blue. What she had done is she'd done several rows of red, white, and blue just in the center of the blanket, but the outer edges were different colors, like grays, and different shades of gray, different shades of blue, so. But, yeah, it's been a lot of fun seeing some of the different ways people have incorporated the red, white, and blue into their Afghans. So, we always tend to think when they ask for red, white, and blue, the whole thing has to be red, white, and blue. It could be mostly red with a little bit of blue, a little bit of white, or it could be mostly blue or mostly white, a little bit of that colored in there, and meets the qualification of having red, white, and blue in it, right? But anyway, that's a suggestion for you, Barb. See if there is a local group that meets, or even a prayer shawl ministry within your area. I know I have they have put out with our prayer shawl ministry request. People have requested some help, and sometimes I've gone out to meet them somewhere or even gone to their homes to help them with something that they have needed some help with. So that's the thing about most crochet knit communities. When we reach out, usually someone answers. It's just how we are, isn't it? But yeah. So I think it's rather interesting. Things are going on in the news. I had saw something about, I think she was in Chicago. The woman that was very well known for doxing police officers and ICE agents and Border Patrol. And they're in Chicago. They're a lot of the left-leaning or blue hair type are protesting at the ICE facility, and she apparently was there when they had chosen to, because police, this wasn't the ICE agency, she was at think they were just protesting in Chicago. But there was a car with patrol for Border Patrols or maybe National Guard that were just patrolling around the streets of Chicago. They weren't really looking for anyone. They just, drive around, see if there are issues, and try to break it up. Well, there were about 10 cars that pulled in protesters, blocked them in, so the officers got out of the car. When they got out of the car, she tried to ram them, physically hit them with her car. And at that point, they drew their weapons, they shot at her, they did hit her, and the last I heard is that she drove herself to the hospital, and someone said she's in ICU, which sometimes, and I'm going to be honest, when you get hit with a bullet can ricochet off internal body parts, bones, whatever, and can do a lot of damage. So she might well be in ICU. But they did find that she was this woman that was well known for doxing officers, that kind of stuff. She had a loaded semi-automatic gun in her car. And apparently she did not have a concealed license to carry, the last I had heard. They're not real sure how she got this gun because it wasn't really registered to her. It's what I had read, although that is not confirmed. That is one of those news sources that suggested she did not at the time that they were reporting it. They could not find she had an active registration for the gun that she had with her. So she's been arrested. So of course now there's going to be protests in the street because she was shot and she was arrested. And they're making a big stink about it. Well, you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. So, I'm sorry. When you're going to, whether it's police officers, National Guard group that has been charged with keeping the streets safe for the other people living in that area. And if you've been to Chicago, there's quite a few areas that are pretty dangerous because there's a lot of gang activity, a lot of shootings in the black community, quite frankly. And they were given a task to help stop a lot of the crime. They've been deputized to do that. So if they are, and you decide that you're going to be an idiot, show up and do stupid stuff like this, you can expect to be met with force. I mean, good grief. I don't know what else you expect. Now, let's move on to the three-eye atlas. I cannot confirm this because I've not gone to the European Space Station to verify it, but I saw something last night that suggested that either one of the comets or an asteroid or something hit the three-eye atlas. It broke apart, so there are now bigger pieces of asteroid coming our way. I don't believe that's true. Because I've also seen a lot of things where they've shown that there have been what look like meteors that have hit this foreign object, let's just call it that, foreign object, and that they have been absorbed. So there's that. Who knows? And until our own NASA is back up, we may not have any clue. But like I said, I have not looked at the European Space Station to see if that is actually true about it breaking up. I doubt that. When you look at it and you're being told and this was last estimate for NASA, that it's so many miles long, it's so, it's 13 to 15 miles wide, and it's larger than Mount McKinley. That's a pretty big object. And I doubt that one comet will be able to break it apart. So, there's that. But that's kind of where that stands right now. I do enjoy watching those kind of things, seeing where it's at. Just because I'm kind of like curious. I have seen, if you do any scrolling on TikTok or even Instagram, you'll come across these people that do psychics, that do psychic readings. And I was watching this one gal. It just came up, and what happened was it was the next reel that came up, and I was doing something, had my hands busy so I couldn't move on. I don't normally watch those. Normally I just scroll on through. And apparently this gal is psychic that uses dowsing rods. Is it dowsing rods? The two rods, they swing inward, it's yes. They swing outward, it's no. And she was asking about the three-eye atlas, if there were human beings on it. The answer was yes. And that made me chuckle. And then my first thought was, well, you have that one professor at Harvard that says there's 7-foot tall African Americans. Now, he may have said they resemble African Americans, because I don't think there's any way they could be African Americans, since is a continent on Earth. But maybe African Americans were brought here by aliens and deposited here. Do I believe that? No, I don't. I really do not believe that. So, anyway, it was interesting, you know? And then I keep hearing, then you have some of those folks that putting out there that we've been told to evacuate the Earth. Well, the only evacuation that I had seen was one for the International Space Station, and it had to do with an asteroid that was supposedly coming in close to hit Earth. And they were concerned that it would hit the International Space Station first or some of the debris. So they thought that it should be evacuated. But as far as us evacuating Earth, if we were told to evacuate Earth, where would we go? How would we get there? And if something happens and the Earth is destroyed, would we even be aware of it at the time? Or would we go up in just a flash? I don't know. You know, those are some of the questions I have. But yeah. My mind goes there and starts to speculate here and there, that kind of thing. But it's kind of fun to watch it and see what's going on. See some of the rather crazy things that people come up with. You know, as always, there's a lot of strangeness out there. And one of the things that I've seen this week is also there was an AI video put out there. And basically the AI video was talking about the whole thing with Bad Bunny being signed for the NFL halftime for the Super Bowl. And that supposedly President Trump had talked with the president of Puerto Rico and about the whole Bad Bunny thing. Well, the video is AI completely. But you got people out there on the left just believing it, absolutely. And this is what makes me crazy. These days, you have to check everything. I mean, it's like when I talked about those videos where they had the rabbits that were jumping on the trampoline. Oh, it's a cute video. Looks absolutely real, but it's completely AI. You know, it's kind of like those videos. I've seen a couple of videos where it says, like they'll show a woman with a plate of food or something and a bear standing next to her. And someone's pretending to be an officer saying, "Ma'am, move away from the animal. You know, it's against the law to feed the animals this way." Well, it's AI generated, people. Nowadays, you gotta beware. We're easily deceived by AI. It's that good. So, just beware when you see something, hear something, go check it out. When I went to go look for the thing, you know, I was like, well, maybe I missed a presser where he talked about that. Couldn't find it anywhere other than the thing, I think it was Snopes and fact checked saying that it was false, it was AI generated. So, whatever, right? And to be real honest, we have scammers using AI against us every day. And we don't really have a way to combat that because, you know, here we have, I mean, let's use the book face as an example. I have 3 or 4 people posing as me. And there's nothing I can do to stop them. And these are people that if you put any photos up, you know, share any photos, they automatically go into an album on your book face page. And they can still copy every one of those. There is no way for you to stop that from happening. Now, the only other thing I've been told, and then when you do report them as being false or impersonating you or someone else, you know, the book face comes back with when you report it, it doesn't go against our terms, services, or community guidelines. So, there you go. What the heck? They could care less. They think they're making money off these people. I don't know, maybe they are, but and the only other thing I have talked with someone at Facebook, because I had asked, I wanted to talk with someone about it. And basically what I was told is you can purchase to have the blue check mark. I think it's $5.95 a month. That'll protect your identity. How? They can still put those pages up. They just won't have the blue check mark. And I look at it like this. I don't want to give Facebook that kind of money. Just don't. Would you? Would you honestly give hard-earned money like that to Facebook? So I don't know. Might have to eventually, but right now I'm just too cheap and don't want to do it. And I don't think I should have to do it. Although I might have to. So I saw where we got the Facebook settlement, supposedly. I'm waiting for my settlement. You know, I'm like, oh boy, I'm getting a settlement. I'm getting money. You know, what is it going to be? 2 cents? I don't think they have penny candy anywhere anymore. So that kind of goes out the window. Kind of sucks as far as that goes. You know, we're stuck sometimes with what they do with us and to us, right? Have no choice around what they're doing. But yeah, just seems a little wrong to me. But then again, you know, our government sells our information left and right, gets away with it. We don't get the option of opting out. The only other thing that I am curious about these places that are doing digital IDs, I don't know if you guys have checked up on it, read up on it. That just, the amount of control that the government would have over your entire life with a digital ID is scary. Honestly, they could withhold all your money. They could take your property from you. I mean, there's a lot of things that they could do. They could make it to where you couldn't buy groceries. Does that sound familiar? It's kind of like the end times. Mark of the Beast. And then Europe is really pushing for this, and the UN is really pushing for it as well. that scares me, because they'll be able to control your travel. I don't know. I don't want them to control my travel, to be honest. If I want to travel, I want to be able to go. You know what I mean? And I think in Europe, they're trying to make it where, in order to travel anywhere in Europe, that you do have to have that digital ID. Now, I'm not sure how that would work with other countries that do not have digital ID. But I guess that'll be one of the things, that'll be a fine detail that gets worked out. So, I don't know. All right, guys, I think I've chatted on long enough. I'm going to let you go. And I'll see you again tomorrow, where we'll talk about some of the things that I've got finished and do some wine incarnation. All right, everybody, have a blessed Sunday afternoon. See you again soon. Bye.